Okay, so let's read through. It says, after A has traveled 7 hours at a rate of 10 miles in 3 hours, B sets out to overtake him, traveling at a rate of 9 miles in 2 hours. How far will each have traveled when B overtakes A? All right. So this is what's called a distance equals rate times time problem. Let me write that down for you. The formula distance, uniform motion, by the way, is the rate times the time. All right. So, kind of looking at it, and I just want to write down what we have over here. We have some information about this. So let's talk about A's information, and we'll talk about B's information. So it says A has traveled 7 hours at a rate of 10 miles in 3 hours. So let me write down the rate of A. And the rate of A is going to be, it says the rate is 10 miles in 3 hours. So it's 10 over 3 miles per hour. All right? And, I realize he has a head start, and it goes on, B sets out to overtake him, traveling at a rate. So let's write down the rate of B now, the rate of B. And the rate of B, it says they can do 9 miles in 2 hours. So his rate is 9 miles over 2 miles per hour. Now I'm just going to leave it that way. And now what I'm going to talk about is, what they're dealing with here. And what they're dealing with is, I want to point out, A is driving, or moving, I should say, like this. This is A. And then B starts out and catches up to him because he's going faster. All right, so what I want to do is I want to just kind of visualize what's happening here. Their question is, when does it overtake? So when they overtake, their distances will be the same. But I hope you realize that that A had a head start. All right? So what's A's distance going to be? Well, if you remember, A has been traveling for 7 hours. So he has a head start. And what kind of head start does he have? Well, A's head start is going to be 7 times his rate, because it's going to be 7 hours, and his rate is 10 divided by 3 miles per hour. So I'm going to write that down. And just give me 1 second. So A, and we're talking about A right here. A's distance, I'll put down, is going to be, let's see, 10 thirds times 3. He has a head start. Times 7, I'm sorry. Plus, well, he's continuing to move, by the way. He's given some time. And this is the time where B is running after him. All right? I'm starting to run out of room here, so I can get my eraser out. And let me just erase this business over here. All right, let me write this down again. So let's talk about A's distance over here. It's going to be 10 thirds times 7. And he continues to move as B chases him. And so he's still going at the rate of 10 thirds. But now there's an unknown amount of time. I don't know how much time it is. And that's going to be his entire distance over here. And what's this guy's distance going to be? Well, 9 halves times T hours. Now, when B overtakes A, their distances will be identical. So these two things, I have to equate them together. Let me write that down for you now. So let's see. It's going to be 10 thirds times 7, which is going to be 70 thirds plus 10 thirds T is going to equal to 9 halves of a T. So I'm saying A's distance and B's distances will be equal and they overtake. Right now, I'm at the point where I've read the problem, I kind of understand what they want, and what I got to do, I really got to answer the question. Now, someone says, what's the question? How far will each have traveled? Well, you know what? I have an abstraction for that. For example, B has traveled 9 halves of T, and A has traveled 70 thirds plus 10 thirds of T. But I don't know what the T is yet, and we'll do that right now. So I'm going to start to say, I've kind of talked through it. Let me just erase this over here. And yeah, we're just working through the problem, reading it, and trying to explain what my reasoning was to get through the problem. I'm at this equation over here, which is an equation of one unknown. And what I would do is I'd multiply both sides by the LCD. And the LCD is going to be 6. So if you multiply both sides by the LCD, 6 times 70 thirds is 140. Plus 6 times 10 thirds is going to be 20t. And 6 times 9 halves is going to be 27t. All right? Now what I'm going to do is subtract 20t from both sides. What do you get? 140 equals, whoops, I went too fast there. Erase her out. 20 taken from 27 is going to be 7t. Whoops, 7t. Get it again. Well, t is 20. That's pretty simple. Now, by the way, someone says, what's t? T is time in hours, right? And it's a lot of traveling. So, 20 hours for who? For B. So let's write this down. So B's distance is going to be, his rate is 9 halves mile per hour, and he's traveling for 20 hours. Well, I hope you realize hours would cancel off. 2 goes into 20 10 times, so this would be 90 miles. Now, by the way, I want to check also for the other guy. Let me write this down for you. And remember, for A's distance, it should be equal, by the way, but I'll write this down, A's distance. And what's that going to be? Well, let's see. He's traveling for how many hours now? Well, he's got a 7-hour head start, and he's going to get 20 hours for B to catch up to him. So it's 27 hours, right? 27 hours. And what's its rate for A? His rate is 7. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. 10 in every 3. 10 miles per hour. 10 third miles per hour. What do you get over here? Well, 3 goes into 27 9 times, and 9 times 10 is 90 miles. It's the same, all right? What was your question? How far? It's 90 miles, all right? So let me repeat this. If you're reading these problems, you're comfortable with what you read, you can understand what you've read, you can get the algebra done, you're good. Just make sure you're matching these answers over here. For the students that need additional support, maybe the blue area is enough for you to get support. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not enough, right? Maybe you got to watch the videos. However, maybe you also need to reach out to me, all right? Hopefully you've been watching enough videos at this point where you know how to reach out to me. Again, thank you so much for paying attention.